So, I've declared it National Food Week here on MRK, and we are taking a trip up north and east to Massachusetts, home of the Boston cream pie. Welcome to my kitchen. Now, you might say, Reubo, that's clearly a cake, not a pie. And I hear you. But, however, this was made back in the day where cakes and pies were cooked in the same pans, thus the words are interchangeable. Simple, right? Now, it's said that it was first invented way back in 1881 in a hotel named the Parker House Hotel. And back then it was called the chocolate cream pie, but somewhere along the way it got changed to Boston cream pie, and it's now its official state dessert. So, let's make it. Now, there are 3 parts to this recipe: the custard, the cake, and the chocolate glaze. And we're gonna start with the custard, or crème pâtissière. There's some culture for you. We're gonna start there because that's gonna take some time to cool down. Now, this is an intermediate level task, but follow what I do and you'll be perfectly fine. All right, so the first thing we'll wanna do is bring 1 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream to a simmer in a medium sauce pot over medium heat. And you'll know that it's at a simmer because the edges will start to bubble. You don't want it at a complete boil. While that's getting up to heat, in a bowl, we're gonna add 4 egg yolks and 6 tablespoons of a low-carb sweetener and a pinch of salt. And then we're gonna mix those till they're well combined. Now here's where I like to take things a little slower. Once the cream is kind of simmering, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it 1 tablespoon at a time. So we're gonna add a tablespoon at a time while mixing our yolk mixture. And normally what you would do is you would just take half the mixture and kind of pour it in slowly while mixing. But I just like to take it nice and slow, 1 tablespoon at a time. Once about half of the mixture is in, then what we're gonna do is we're going to add the yolk cream mixture back into the pot. And we're gonna cook this until it's thickened. It's gonna be about 4 to 5 minutes, making sure that you're whisking constantly. It's gonna thicken up suddenly, so just make sure you're paying attention. And this, you'll know it's good because it'll coat the back of a wooden spoon. Then we're gonna remove this from the heat, and to this we're going to whisk in 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of butter. Now what you wanna do is just pour this into a bowl through a fine mesh strainer, and that'll just make sure that any of the clumps or anything that happened to the eggs will be out of your way. And you'll have a nice, smooth mixture. And to this, we're going to whisk in 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Beautiful. Then we're going to cover this with plastic over the top so it doesn't form skin. And then you're gonna let this cool to room temperature. Then you're gonna refrigerate this for at least 3 hours. Now, while the custard is cooling, let's make the cake. Now for the cake, we're gonna preheat the oven to 350 degrees, and you want to grease 2 8-inch cake pans lined with parchment paper. In a medium bowl, we're gonna whisk together 2 cups of almond flour, 3/4 cup of a low-carb sweetener, 1/2 cup of coconut flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then to this, we're going to add 4 large eggs. And of course, I just like to kind of mix in between each egg. And we're gonna add 1/2 cup of butter, melted, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then we also have 1/2 cup of water. Now, the water is going to add some moisture, and this will get it to a consistency so that it's spreadable. You don't want enough water so that it's pourable. You just want it spreadable. Now we're gonna divide the batter evenly between the 2 pans. Spread them all the way to the edges. Now, these are gonna be kind of dry. They're gonna have more of a consistency of a biscuit. But trust me, with everything combined, it's just gonna be deliciousness. And then we're gonna bake this at the 350 for 20 to 25 minutes until it's nice and golden brown at the top. So, once these are out of the oven, we're gonna let them cool in the pan for about 10 minutes. Then we're gonna flip these out to a wire rack and let them cool completely. And now while the custard and cake are cooling, let's make the glaze. All right, now we are ready to assemble. So it's pretty simple from here. We're gonna place one layer of our cake on our serving plate, whisk your pastry cream a little bit just to kind of break up and remove any clumps. Then we're gonna spread the pastry cream on top of that. Then we'll just place the other layer on top of that. All right, and I have my chocolate glaze here, which is really simple. You're just gonna take 2/3 cup of heavy whipping cream, 2 ounces of unsweetened chocolate, chopped, 1/4 cup of a low-carb sweetener, 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Place that into a microwave-safe bowl and microwave that at 30-second intervals until it's nice and smooth. And then we're gonna spread the chocolate glaze over the top of that, and you can just use a knife or an offset spatula just to kind of push it to the edges and make sure it kind of drips down. And you're set. Refrigerate this for like 1 hour before serving, and you're good to go. If you cut the cake into 16 servings, each serving is going to be about 3.8 net carbs. So, eat it all. I mean, don't do that. There you have chocolate cream pie deliciousness on a plate. I hope you get inspiration from my kitchen. Like and subscribe to come back for more, and comment below what your thoughts on this Boston cream pie are, because let me tell you, it's deliciousness. It's deliciousness on a plate, for real. For real. For real. So, you can connect with me on any of my social media, listed below. Thank you bunches for being here, and tune in tomorrow for more National Food Week deliciousness.